even guys who have been shooting for a while and come to me for some coaching, one thing that they'll do is they they will tell me when they're shooting, okay, and when they're quote unquote aiming, and we'll get to what their aiming is in a second. Um, Besides not picking a spot, I tell them, do you know where that arrow is going to go? What if you get lucky enough and it impacts? Where is it going to go? So when you add hunting to this, the whole problem that comes in is you're looking at a target, flat targets in 3D, get to the target, hit the ring, we don't care. But when you're hunting, you got to know where it's going to go in and where it's going to come out. Because I will tell you right now, everyone says, well, for hunting, the best shot is when he's completely broadside to you. No, because then you're going to have a very narrow point of what it's going to hit as it goes through. I always tell people quartering away. Why? Because I can envision the impact, and I might go in through the back part of the ribs, but I might come out hitting everything in the way out through the front part of the opposite shoulder. So you got to know your angles. So if you're aiming and you want to know where everything's going to go, you have to actually think of it as, there was a guy a while back on YouTube, and he had this whole, he used to make targets, and he came up with an aiming principle. John Dudley has brought up something like it, but he used to come up with the aiming principle of using a ball. So you have to think of it, your target is a ball, which is kind of good because a target that's paper is round anyway. But if you think of a ball sitting inside where you're trying to hit, you got to make it through the biggest part of that ball possible. If you just catch a little bit of the ball, you're not going to do any damage. So you want to make sure you go through the whole thing. And a lot of people, when they're aiming, don't take that into consideration. They don't take into consideration where it's going to start and where it's going to end. And it sounds like a lot, but you have to calculate all this in your head. Now, when you're first starting out, trust me, you're not going to want to touch any of this because you're going to be like, I just want to hit it. Okay, fine. Just want to hit it. But when you start adding angles like tree stands, you got to know how that's going to work. So you got to aim. The easiest thing I tell people, and this is part of the aiming system, if you don't know how to calculate that in your head, just aim for where you want on the other side. What does that mean? So let's just say that I'm looking at a target, at an animal that's 20 yards away. If I'm uncertain what angle I should use to come in, to go out, then fine. Where do I want to go out? And that's what I'm thinking of. And I'll look through the animal, and I'll find. So if I want to come out his lower part of his chest in the front leg, I know that I can't hit that if I'm going through the other one. There's no way. So I'll aim further back and I'll see the angle. So I'm aiming like this, and I'm literally visualizing it going through there so I know where my spot's going to be. And if you do it like that, you actually hit the intended point through the other side of the target.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do that, it takes some of the guesswork out of it, because now I'm aiming at the opposite leg and I want to hit it this way. When I fire, it's going to go right through towards that opposite leg and do its intended damage. But if I just aim like, oh, I just want to hit it there, I might not hit anything that it's important, might not hit anything vital. And for anyone who watches hunting videos these days, tell me, do you see a lot of people that it really looks like it's a bad shot, really far back? If they are shooting a broadside animal and they hit it really far back, it probably is. But if they're shooting at an angle, they all look like they're far back because they're shooting it going like that. So, oh, they hit him a little bit far back. Well, no, he actually hit him at the right angle, and that arrow probably came out the other side towards the front. Fine. It's a misconception about how that works. But if you aim properly, it works very, very well.